Hello amazing people, and you're welcome to my channel. If you're an old subscriber, you're welcome back, and if you're new here, please kindly hit the subscribe button. I post new videos every day, recipes, baking tips and techniques, and how you can also grow your baking business. You do not want to miss it, so hit that subscribe button. Also like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like the video if you like and find this helpful. So today I'll be walking us through on how I baked and decorated this soft, fluffy and moist vanilla and red velvet cake. This is beginner friendly. I didn't use any oven, I didn't use mixer, and I didn't use any fancy tools as well when I decorated this. So let's get right into it. I will firstly be making my vanilla oil based cake. So for this I need 2 cups of flour, 3/4 cups of sugar. I will be using 1/8 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Then I'll be using 3 eggs for this. You can use small eggs, 4 small eggs or 3 big eggs. I will also be adding 3/4 cup of milk, half cup of oil. Then I'll be using my flavor as well, 2 teaspoons of vanilla butternut flavor. So let's get mixing. Firstly, I'll be cracking in my 3 eggs into my mixing bowl. So I'm going to whip this together with the help of my hand whisk. We are not using any mixer in this video. This is the easiest way to make cake without mixer, by using oil-based recipe. Okay, so once my egg is well whisked and mixed together, I'll be adding in my 3/4 cups of sugar. Then I'm going to make sure this is well mixed. I'm going to, with the help of my hand whisk, I'm going to whisk this together until at least some of the half of the sugar is dissolved inside the egg. So once you reach this consistency, this is okay. Then I'll be adding in my half cup of oil. You can use any oil for this, but make sure you use a pure vegetable oil. Just mix this together with the egg and sugar mixture. Make sure this is well mixed as well. Then you add in your milk. This is my 3/4 cups of milk. To use powder milk, dissolve 3 tablespoons of powder milk in 3/4 cups of water, and then you add your own milk. Okay, then I'm going to be adding in 2 teaspoons of flavor. This is my vanilla butternut flavor. You can use any flavor of your choice, but so since this is a vanilla cake, use vanilla flavor. So once I mix that together, I'll be adding in my dry ingredients. Firstly, I'll be adding my baking powder and salt inside my flour. So that's my 2 teaspoons of baking powder. You can use 1/2 teaspoon as well. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is adding my dry ingredients into my wet ingredients. Okay, so you want to add this little by little until it is well incorporated. You can divide your flour into 2 or 3 parts and add this little by little, then you mix together. So I'm going to be adding another portion, then I'm going to mix this together as well. Then add in the rest of your flour. This is to avoid lumps, because if you add this at the same time, your batter might have some lumps. Okay, so mix this well. Look at how creamy the batter looks. This is really nice and creamy. So you want this consistency for your batter, but if you want a more moist cakes, you can add 1 cup of milk instead of 3/4 cup. Okay, so this is alright. The next thing to do is to pour. We are going to be pouring this inside our pan. So I have in here my greased pan. You can use butter or oil to oil your pan, and then you use your flour to dust it. Okay, so I'll be pouring my batter inside my pan. Okay, just bang this on your kitchen counter or your work surface. This is to release all the air bubbles that might be trapped inside. Then you bake this in your oven. To bake with your pot, add in some salt, and then you add your stove stand and you bake. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be making is my red velvet cake. For this, I'll be needing 1 cup of flour. I have in here 1 teaspoon of baking powder and half teaspoon of baking soda. Then I'm going to be using half cup of milk. This is buttermilk. To make your buttermilk, add 2 teaspoons of lemon juice or vinegar into your half cup of milk. I'll be using only 1 egg for this. And I have in here half cup of sugar. You can also use 3/4 cup of sugar for this, but this is for a kid. That's why I'm using less sugar. I have in here 1/4 cup of oil. I'll be using 1/4 cup of oil. I'm going to be using strawberry flavor for this. I'll be using 1 teaspoon of strawberry flavor. Then I have in here 1 teaspoon of cocoa powder. I'll be using cocoa powder. There is no red velvet cake without cocoa powder. I will also be using half teaspoon of food color. So I mixed all my dry ingredients together: the cocoa powder, the color, the baking powder, and the baking soda as well. So let's get mixing. I break in 1 egg inside my mixing bowl. Then I will add in my half cup of sugar. Then I'm going to whisk this together. I'm not using 3/4 cups of sugar because this is for a kid. So make sure you mix your sugar and egg together very well until at least some of the sugar has dissolved. Then you add in your 1/4 cup of oil. Mix this together as well. Mix this until it is well mixed. Then the next thing is adding your buttermilk. Okay, this is half cup of milk plus 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Then I'm going to be adding in my 1 teaspoon of flavor, my strawberry flavor. Adding strawberry flavor to red velvet cake takes it to another level. Believe me, the flavor is so it goes well with the cake. Okay, then I'll be adding in my flour mixture, all my dry ingredients. This has the color, the cocoa powder, the baking powder, and the baking soda. So I just divide this into 2 and I mixed well. This is to avoid lumps. Okay, don't add your dry ingredients at once. Alright, so I'll be mixing this with my paddle until it is well mixed. You can also use your whisk for mixing this. Make sure you whisk well the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients is well mixed. You have a creamy batter as this. Look how creamy this batter looks. It looks so beautiful. So You're going to be adding this inside my baking pan, and I'm going to be baking this in my oven or with my pot. I actually use pot to bake this. To bake with your pot, add in some salt. I know some people use sand, but sand is not hygienic. Make sure you use salt. Then you add in your stove top. You can use any stove top for this, and then you put in your cake and you bake under low heat. Bake under low heat to avoid the cake from burning. You don't want a burnt cake. So after I add in my batter inside the pan, I'm going to bang this on the kitchen counter to release the air bubbles. You don't want your cake to have air bubbles inside. Okay, so bang this. Make sure you always bang this on your counter table. Now we are going to be making the butter icing, the buttercream, to design our cake. Okay, this cake is for my nephew, and I'm making this at the comfort of my kitchen with little instrument, because I don't usually bring my tools home, so I have to use what I have available. Alright, so I had in my margarine. This is 250 grams of Anu margarine. You can use any margarine of your choice, but I'm using Anu for this. You can also use any margarine. So I'm going to be with the head of my paddle, I'm going to be whipping this up. I'm going to stir this, mix this until it is fluffy. You want a fluffy margarine for this, so that you are going to have a nice and creamy buttercream. You want your buttercream to be creamy and nice, so make sure you mix your butter well until it is fluffy. This just takes around 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, it doesn't have to be as fluffy as if you want to make this, you want to use this for cake, but it has to be fluffy as well. Alright, so after about 5 minutes, my butter cream is ready. My margarine is ready. So look how fluffy this is. You see the volume has increased, the color has become lighter. That's the kind of consistency you want. So I have in 600 grams of icing sugar. 600 grams. You can also use more than that. Some people use as much as 1 kg for your butter icing, but I love mine. I don't want this to be hard. I just want a creamy buttercream. So I'm using 600 grams of icing sugar to 250 grams of margarine. Okay, so make sure you mix this. Do not add your icing sugar at the same time. Make sure you mix this little by little. You can divide this into 4 or 3 and add this little by little until your icing sugar is well incorporated with your margarine. So this icing sugar is homemade icing sugar. I made this icing sugar at the comfort of my kitchen, because I don't have any icing sugar stored, and I need icing sugar to decorate this cake. So I made this myself. You can watch the video of how I made this. It is on my channel if you are interested. Okay, so I'm going to make this until it is well incorporated. Make sure you watch the video to the end, because I'll be showing you an unusual way of making your drip. I made this red drip for this butter icing, and I know most of us use royal icing for making drips, but why go through the stress when you are making a buttercream cake to be making royal icing for your drip when you can use something else. So make sure you watch to the end to know what I use to make this drip. Okay, because this is not a chocolate drip, this is a color drip, and you are not using your cocoa powder. So most people use icing sugar for this, but I do not. They make use of royal icing, but I do not make use of royal icing. I make use of something much simpler. So make sure you watch to the end. So I'm adding in 1 teaspoon of strawberry flavor. This flavor, it goes well with the cake. Okay, so I use that just to flavor my buttercream, and my buttercream is ready. So let's frost the cake. I crumb coated this cake off camera. I added some cake crumbs into my buttercream to crumb coat it. This is going to seal in all the crumbs for the cake, and you allow this to set for about 10 minutes before you add in your final buttercream layer. So this is not going to allow your final layer to have any crumbs in it. You know, when you see some cakes, you can see the crumbs outside. So this crumb coat is not going to allow that to happen. So make sure you crumb coat your cake. It's going to make the icing, the final icing, much more easier. So I'm going to be decorating this. Just follow the video of how I did this. You can start by decorating this from the top or from the sides. So I'm adding buttercream to the top first, then I spread it to the sides. Just follow the steps as you've seen in the video. Make sure that every part of your cake is coated with your final layer of buttercream. Then with the end of the knife, you use it to scrape, to at least clean it up a little bit before using your scraper. So like I said, I'm doing this at the comfort of my kitchen, and I don't really have my tools with me, so I'm using this as my scraper. So this is just a disposable cover, and I cut it, and yeah, it works well. They can see this works fine. So if you're a beginner and you don't have a scraper at hand, this is very useful. I use it sometimes when I want to decorate small cakes. So this is only useful for small cakes. So I found this much easier than using the big scraper to just scrape the small cake. So I'm using this. So if you find it out smoothing your cake, then you can put this inside a hot water or warm water. It's going to allow it to smoothen even more. It's going to allow you to have a smooth buttercream icing. So there are some places that are not run with the others, so I'm just filling that place with my buttercream. And then you use this to smoothen it up. So crumb coating is very important to me because I find it much more easier when I'm decorating my cakes. It doesn't give me any problem. I don't have any crumbs in the buttercream. As you can see that you can't notice any crumbs at all. So make sure you allow your crumb coat to set for like 10 minutes before doing the final layer. This is going to allow the butter to harden up and the crumb coat is going to set. If you have a freezer, just freeze it for about refrigerate it for about 5 minutes to allow the crumb coat to set. So we're dealing with moist cakes, especially chocolate and red velvet cake. It is really important crumb coat, or else you are going to be dealing with crumbs in your buttercream. In your final layer of buttercream, you're going to be dealing with crumbs. So when dealing with moist cakes, make sure your crumb coat is important. Alright, so I'm just going to then smoothen the top as well, smoothen the side, smoothen the top. So I have in just another scraper, but this one has the sign on it. So I'm going to use this to create a design to the sides. I'm just doing a simple design for this because this is a cake for my nephew and he's just 6 years old. So this is just a little design, nothing much. So as you can see, you are seeing the cakes. You can see that place is not well covered with buttercream. So I'm going to fill that place up with buttercream. I don't want to see any crumbs, any cake crumbs in my buttercream. So make sure you fill it out when you notice that some places are not well covered with buttercream. This is very easy, okay, especially when you have a creamy and smooth buttercream. It is very easy. So I prefer working with smooth and creamy buttercreams than the one that is going to be much more difficult to work with. That's why I use a ratio of 250 grams to 600 grams of icing sugar. So I'm adding some sprinkles to the top because, well, this is a kid birthday cake. So add some sprinkles. Kids love sprinkles. So I'm just going to add some sprinkles to the top to design it up a bit. So from the start, I didn't want to add drip to this cake, but after finishing it, I was like, oh, this cake is a little bit plain. Let me add in some more decoration. So I had in my red drip just to make it more beautiful and less plain, because I find it a little bit plain. So here I'm adding my topper, but normally I'm supposed to add the drip before adding the sprinkles and the topper, but because I decided to add the drip later on, so I'm going to be adding it after I added the sprinkles and the topper. Yeah, so to make your cake drip, I'm using buttercream for this. Yes, you can use buttercream. Instead of making a royal icing, I melted some buttercream. I added some water in a pot, then I heat it up. I put some buttercream inside the bowl and I put it inside the hot water until it melts. Then I add in my red food color. This is easy because it even hardens more faster than royal icing. You can use this method instead of making royal icing all the time. Just melt your buttercream and add in your color, any color you want. But if you're making a white strip, it's better to use chocolate or royal icing. And we are done. Look how beautiful the cake looked. This is very simple and easy. Look how the drip stands. Yes, it's going to dry up really fast. So yes, you can make a cake and decorate a cake from the comfort of your kitchen. Alright, so since I am the aunt, I also get a slice of the cake, and I know that I had to show you how the inside of the cake looks. So here is the slice of the cake. Oh my god, look how moist and fluffy that vanilla cake is. Look how beautiful the slice is. And oh my god, this red velvet is even more moist. Of course, red velvet cake is known for being moist. This is so moist, and it breaks apart as I'm cutting it. Yes, this is how the cake is supposed to look, and the icing is so creamy. The flavors from the icing, the strawberry flavors and the vanilla cake go so well together. It is a must. You have to try this. Add strawberry flavor to your red velvet cake. You're going to thank me later. This is so good. Thanks for watching this video today, and please like the video, share to your friends, comment down if you have any question. I will answer it immediately. Yes, and please subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed yet. It is very important because I post new videos every day. I do not want to miss it.